Don't cut calories if you're just starting a weight loss journey. There's a few steps in the operation that I want you to do first, and it has to do with your speed of your metabolism, and I'm going to cover that in this video. So a majority of your energy is actually going to be coming from this segment right here, your BMR. This is what it takes for your body to blink, breathe, all of the basic functions that are required for you to maintain life at rest. Then you have a smaller number, which is your activity. This is getting up, moving around, talking to people, getting things off the shelf. And then you have your exercise level, which is the intentional amount of burn that you're doing, which is pretty easy to track and also plan for. This is very important. So I want to make sure that consistently you're getting the same amount of calories in as you have going out so that we can maintain this level here, the BMR. Incredibly important. The metabolism speed. So the speed of your metabolism is determined by the mitochondria. So this is a cell, and then inside the cell is that powerhouse. So what ends up happening is ATP goes into the cell, and then it produces energy, and then that ends up getting expelled as waste product. So in terms of speed, I want you to think about calories per hour. And that is determined by the amount of processes that are happening per hour. So if you're blinking 200 times per hour and you end up cutting your calories, you might actually reduce that down to 150 per hour. That's critical. Your decision making, your prefrontal cortex requires a lot of energy if you don't have enough calories. So it will literally reduce how many calories per hour you are burning, which then subsequently impacts that BMR number, which is how many calories your body's burning at rest. So my objective, I want to actually increase the amount of calories that are going into the system so that you can increase, first of all, the amount of activity that you are doing through exercise that can increase, as well as the amount of activity from just daily activities, walking around. You might end up having more energy to do the tasks that you feel like you don't have energy for. But it also will build in a little bit more on the metabolic side. Your BMR will increase under the circumstances that I am increasing your calories, equivalent to the demand that I'm placing in your body. If I increase your calories, I can make your body actually burn more calories. This is great because it creates a standard for when we do an actual cut. So in the cut, what I'm going to ultimately end up doing is I'm going to cut a little bit off the top from how many calories you're actually getting into the body. So if we were at 2,600 calories, I might bring you down to 2,200 calories. And while I'm doing that, I'm also probably going to take off a little bit of exercise. I'm going to reduce the intensity of the exercise, not necessarily the duration. And the reason why is because if I can get you to rely on energy systems that are a little bit more related to your fat burning energy systems as opposed to carb burning energy systems, then this is a little bit of a visual. So I'm reducing the amount of carbs and I'm reducing the amount of activity that uses carbs so that those things go down. I don't want your BMR. BMR does rely mostly on fat burning metabolism. And if I can have your fat burning activities maintain a higher level, then the fat storage that you have in your body will end up being a part of the fuel that has to go in to keep the whole thing funded. And this is what I don't want. What I don't want you to do is to end up cutting a bunch of your activity out. So, I'm sorry, a bunch of your energy out, because what that ends up eating into substantially would be your BMR, especially if you're doing this over time. If you cut out a bunch of activity energy from your basal metabolic rate and you're still maintaining high exercise rates, that means that you're going to slow down your metabolism, which is all the processes involved in blinking and thinking and everything that's really important. So then quality of life will decrease precipitously. And what inevitably ends up happening is we will add in suddenly an additional 1,000 calories from like a big burrito or something like that. It will have to go into storage as fat because it's anticipating that there's going to be a shortage of food coming in the system. So therefore, we need to make sure we have fat in reserve just in case this shortage continues. So you can only decrease finitely how many calories your body can burn, how many calories your body will burn through activity, through exercise, and through your BMR. So the higher I can get that number, the more range I have to drop your calories to pull from your fat stores, as opposed to driving down your metabolism speed and driving down your function and quality of life